So the other day I'm geeking out on Superman because I'm just having this realization that goddamn, Superman can fly without wings. And chat goes in on how Superman pretty much can use his cells to manipulate gravity. He has like an aura around him where he could manipulate the energy. He could move in different directions. So kind of like in the Bible, they have a thing called the cherubim or the chariot, and it can pretty much operate the same. It can go forward, backwards, diagonal. It don't really have limitations. So that's what Superman represents for yourself, is your ability to go beyond human limitations. And human limitations aren't what you think. It's not your ability to run 100 miles an hour. It's your ability to overcome your own suffering. It's your ability to overcome your humanity. It's your ability to overcome the limitations that were placed on you. Majority of the limitations that humans have, you didn't come up with it. Someone told you bullshit like you only use 10% of your brain. And because you didn't know better, and you were trained to be a slave your whole life, you listen to that and you operate from that. Okay. So then I go on to ask, if Superman was powerful, why does a rock fold him easily? And pretty much it says kryptonite is not just a rock. It has all these, explanations. So then I go and ask, so metaphysically speaking, what is kryptonite for the one on the left-hand path or the journey to self? Now, this is where we get into the real stuff here. Metaphysically speaking, kryptonite for the left-hand path, journey to self-sovereignty, isn't an external enemy. Metaphysically speaking, kryptonite is not an external enemy. If anything that fractures self-authority, it's anything that fractures self-authority, that fractures you while pretending to empower you. The first thing I thought about, especially in these last few weeks, is everybody I talk to. Okay, not everybody. Majority of the people I talk to, ICE, Trump, Gaza, this price, stock market, this person, they don't even realize you constantly suffer because you refuse to take reign on your own life. You constantly suffer on some external shit. Kryptonite isn't an external enemy, Dick. Kryptonite is you not understanding who you are and what you are. So inwardly, you have no ground to stand on. Inwardly, you have no structure, no sense of self. Inwardly, you're fractured all over the place because you're worried about this when you think this was real. You think that's real. You worry about every goddamn thing but you. All these groups that people join, let's fight ICE, let's fight Gaza, they might seem like they're empowering you. On the surface, they may look as if they're empowering you, but there's no power in it. There is no power in fighting for something you can't directly experience. These things might seem to be giving you power, but they're not giving you true knowledge of who you are. They're not giving you true authority. But listen, I'm not making this up. I'm simply reading chat. The frame, using Superman as myth. In mythic terms, Superman isn't weakened by force. He's weakened by something that resonates with his origins and scrambles his internal source of power. Anything that causes you to look outside of yourself for yourself is scrambling your internal source of power. This is why you will hear me say, and people like myself say, go beyond this world. This world is foolish. This world is silly. It's a play. This world is an illusion, which means you go beyond it. Okay, before there was ICE, there was the Taliban, there was Al Qaeda, there was ISIS. There's always been a group that we've been told, oh, we got to worry about this. Oh, we got to worry about that. It's the same play, different group. different name. But why change up the equation when many people still fall for this? Many people still fall for this. We still, and myself included, still worrying about some outside shit. Why? Because internally we have not done the work. The work is not done. In mythic terms, Superman isn't weakened by force. He's weakened by something that resonates with his origin and scrambles his internal source of power. For the left-hand path, kryptonite works the same way. So let's get into this. The real kryptonites of the left-hand path. Borrowed truth. This is why self-knowledge is so important, man. Because without self-knowledge, all you have is borrowed truth. Your history, your labels, your archetypes, your avoiding relationship styles, all that shit is borrowed understandings. You have yet to give yourself the amount of light so that you can come up with your own understanding and stand on your own borrowed truth. Taking beliefs, symbols, or identities because they feel powerful rather than because they're realized. I remember I was doing the open mic and I noticed that everybody goddamn near had on the Ankh. We all were choosing to identify with this symbol because it felt powerful. But we didn't realize what the hell we had on. We didn't know the deeper understandings of a symbol. And we didn't know that we go beyond a goddamn symbol. The Ankh needs you to stay. The Ankh needs you in order to exist. The Ankh needs people to buy it. The Ankh ain't shit but a symbol. It ain't a goddamn thing but a symbol. You know what I'm saying? Ancient knowledge, chosen ones, high vibrational, low vibrational hierarchies. These don't destroy the self, they replace it. So what it's pretty much saying is, just like in church, your pastor told you what was true, just like in school, your teacher told you what was true. Growing up, your parents told you what was true. The same is happening when people, quote unquote, awakening and call themselves spiritual. You're operating the same. All you're doing is changing the clothes. You're just changing the words up. You're just switching the words up. But it's still borrowed truth. It's not your truth. It's not your direct experience. It did not come from out of you. Power that isn't realized internally becomes dependency. Rituals, books, spells, waiting on a teacher to bring you more information. These teachers, when I don't even like saying that word power, but when it is realized, you don't need to depend on nothing. You don't need to depend on another human to get what you need, to get the answer you need. Okay? But when you're operating based on borrowed truths, which majority of people, this is their life. Your history is all borrowed. You can't prove a damn thing about history. You can't prove no history happened. What you can do is tell another person what another person told you, and likely did not tell you. You read it. You read it somewhere, because oral tradition is dead. There's no more passed down stories. All that shit's dead. You got this shit on the internet. Taking beliefs, symbols, or identity because they feel powerful. All that we're black and the melanin is of Africa source, and we're the original people. All that stuff is borrowed truth. Because ultimately, this self is realized over and over by realizing there's truly no self. That's why it says these don't destroy the self, they replace it. So you're replacing one ego for the next. You went from Christian to universal spiritual person to this to that. Same thing, different clothes. Spiritual narcotics, practices that numb friction instead of sharpening agency. Endless insight without embodiment. That ain't nothing but Instagram and TikTok and all of them. YouTube. Constant information, constant understandings, constant this, constant that. But yet the embodiment comes when you no longer need these philosophies and thoughts and teachings and concepts. You become the concept. You become Buddha. You become Christ. You become all these concepts. And when you become it, you no longer have to move constantly telling everybody, hey, this is what this is and that is, and based on no. You simply embody it. Embodiment. When you constantly and consistently do the work on yourself, which is your brain, your mind, getting your thinking together, okay, choosing to walk in truth rather than lies, you become that light. Escaping discomfort through nothing is real. Puh. 2023, 2024, that was me. That was me. But if nothing is real, that means anything is possible. Anything could be true. Anything could be permitted because it's not real. It's Play-Doh. It's here and then it's gone. Bliss states that avoid responsibility. Of course, this is all too common in the quote unquote spiritual community. Oh, I ain't getting no job. Oh, I'm too enlightened to work. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This uncovering of yourself actually makes things better. By the way, it becomes easy to handle things. It becomes easy to do certain things that we all do. This is power leakage disguised as awakening. So let's keep going. Unexamined ego inflation. The left-hand path collapses the moment self-sovereignty becomes self-sovereignty becomes superiority. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I see what others can't. This is what happens early on in the journey. Early on in the journey, you're so fresh from religion that you still are overly concerned with everyone else. You are overly concerned in why this person ain't listening, why they won't get this, why they ain't doing this and checking this out because you feel like you know something. So you still operate from this ego. Church teaches you that this is all together in one and we're supposed to, that's the furthest thing from the truth. This path is a solo journey. It's all about you, the man in the mirror. They're asleep. Oh, they NPCs, they dead. They won't get it. Cool. But that's not where you constantly need to operate from. To be honest, majority of people shouldn't even be seen as real. They're characters. They shouldn't take up space in your world. But like I said, when we first leave church, and we don't understand that your whole life, all you've been doing is trying to worry about other people and manage other people. In school, you were charged without telling you to constantly worry about how to not disrupt the flow of a older person, name your teacher, and how to manage the emotions of students. So you want to worry about you. If you have no clue what it's like to actually sit and be with yourself because you still walk around with this invisible teacher. Now you call him boss. You call him whatever authority figure you imagine to be with you. The students and classmates are number what you call friends, social media friends. You're still always looking outside yourself. You still worry about other people. How are you going to become self-sovereign? How are you going to get to uncover that which lies within you? if you always worry about the next person. You will never ever uncover you. Okay. But one that is a very thing that I see with myself and others is you start thinking that you're above. I'm chosen. I'm not like them. Okay. Watch out for those eyes and those me's and those my's, because they'll puff your head up real quick. That's not individuation, that's identity armor. Hmm. Hmm. So no, we're all in this thing together. Everybody is in this thing together. You know, we all here to get ourselves together and get this heart together. All right, we're all here. So no one person is above the next. That shit that we're taught. We're taught to say shit like chosen ones. That's still religious. Religious people have to go out their way to call separation. All thoughts of separation are religious. All thoughts that divide people are religious. So we think that, oh, I'm so spiritual now. No, you're not. You're heavily religious. You just change the words around. You just change the words up, but you reading books, you getting all this information, and now you're looking down on people who aren't. You're still religious. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. External validation of power. Needing witnesses, disciples, reactions, or fear to feel potent. Needing witnesses, disciples, reactions, or fear to feel potent. Mm. This is big, especially with people who call themselves artists. You need someone to tell you, hey, it's okay for you to finally do something. External validation will keep you so stuck and so deep in suffering because you truly believe people in this world care about you. But the same people who love you today will hate you tomorrow. Okay? Every quote unquote spiritual figure, Jesus, Buddha, all of them, have some type of information about the world hating them, the world being against them. I mean, Jesus was murked by the people. Matter of fact, even in this world, all the figures who say things like peace and knowledge of self, they get killed. So that lets you know what you're dealing with. If you worry about what another person has to say, get off the journey. Go back to church. Seriously. But if you are willing to do the work to remove these falsehoods from yourself, these lies, this darkness from yourself, okay, you will have to accept that you are going to become something that most people, the whole thought process of agreeing with other people and needing to agree and everybody need to be on one page is going to die. Won't be needed no more. So what's the bullet points? Teaching before integration. That was me. And that's many teachers. That's many of us when we think we know something. First thing we want to do is start telling people what we know. Because we think we know. What we don't understand is, no, you got an understanding. You have a small understanding. Okay. And if you really, really, truly are serious about growth, you will always remind yourself you don't know nothing. And that way your understanding you leave yourself open to understand the same topic over and over again. Each thing in this life, each thing has multiple levels. Okay. There's different grades. So you can say if it's topics, well, there's a kindergarten version and then there's a collegiate level version. Performing insight. I see this all the time, especially with women, black women. You know, the face paint, the head wraps, the sage, and the certain way they talk in the videos. People starting videos off in yoga. Let's take a breath, family, and let's woo side down. And as soon as they get off the video, girl, you won't believe motherfucker this fake. But because you went to school and you went to church and you refuse to accept the fact that you were constantly lied to your whole life in these institutions, you think it's okay to perform insight. You don't see nothing wrong with it. And that gets in your own way. We're used to performing all day long. All school taught you how to do was perform so you don't piss teacher off and so you can fit in with students. Okay, church is a big performance, literally. Shout out to Drewski. Needing others to recognize your realization. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Again, this is a solo journey. There is no text in existence that says wake other people up. There is no text that say you are charged with waking people up and they have to know and they have to get it and see it how you see it. The people who understand you, they'll understand. The people who want to hear, they'll hear. But that's not something you should truly concern yourself with. Okay, because when you get to the point of realization, that means work has been done. So if I've been working for 2 years, 3 years on one, and I'm getting these realizations finally coming through, if I've been on this walk for a while and I've been working, I've done something to get there. You think you finna go just tell somebody some shit and they gonna get it? It ain't done no work? No, that's not how it works. Realization comes through the walk, actionable steps. Okay, constantly putting light in your mind, constantly letting go over and over. It's not a one-time thing. It's a constant thing. Okay, church didn't teach you that the work on yourself is always. It don't stop. You don't take time off, you know. People feel like, "Oh, I need to be in a better position and then I can read and then I can check this out." That come from church. That come from church. If LeBron, you think LeBron became the best basketball player ever just by taking time off and deciding when it was convenient for him to work out and shoot around? No. Constantly, consistently, he did the work to become that. So if all this information says you're this divine being, okay, you are that which you seek in these gods and deities, and you are this super divine thing. You have constant work to do in order to continue to realize that over and over again. It ain't some, see, when you knew in your journey, you just read that and then you move in the ego. Nigga, I'm God. I'm beyond. I'm beyond work. I'm beyond this. But when the realization hits, you realize that has nothing, you won't even have to utter such things. For you to even have to walk around telling people we're the gods and I'm this and I'm that and I'm beyond and it's all ego. And trust me, I was the one. True sovereignty is quiet. If it needs applause, it's already leaking. And there you go. The most spiritual people you will ever meet in your life. Oh, okay. The most spiritual people in existence, you probably never meet them. You probably never hear from them. The most spiritual people in this existence, you probably will never ever hear from them and meet them. Why? Because when you get to these certain levels of yourself and these certain intellects kick in based on you let go of lies, blatant lies, there's no more need to be around people and try to fit in and have friends and go outside. It's no need. Look no further than Master Splinter. The turtles run a city and he sits in there and he chills in a sewer. He chills in a sewer needing nothing. Why? Because he's at a supreme level of peace, a supreme level of divine understanding. Avoidance of love, not romance, integration. Okay, we have to stop thinking that love means emotions and two people and dating, and no, love don't even mean another person. Okay, the refusal to let power soften, the belief that vulnerability equals weakness. And this is goddamn society. See, we don't even realize people say, oh, vulnerability, they make it like it's something. Nigga, there's nothing behind your eyeballs. There's nothing to defend. Like when I say you're not real, I'm dead serious. You're not. So all that vulnerability shit, that's overrated, bro. You supposed to be vulnerable. You could be vulnerable life easily. Why? Because there's nothing to defend, man. There's nothing behind your eyeballs. That person that they gave you your name and your race and all that shit is made up. Someone told you that. You can't prove what color you are. You can't prove your age. You can't prove so much shit. And as long as you walk around identifying with these things, you will suffer. I guarantee you. You will be confused. You will always be at it with people. You'll be emotional every time you get on your phone because you believe you're real. You don't want to accept that there's nothing behind your eyeballs. You don't want to accept that if you are God, if you are this divine being, you don't need a label on yourself. Why would God care about human shit like gender and skin color? You don't have desires no more. You don't have wants no more. You God, ain't you? What do you need these things for? Why would a God need the same things that a human needs? And I'm only saying God for teaching purposes because that word is lame. We ruined the word God because we're worshipers. When a person says the word God, we don't see our own image in a mirror. We look up to the sky, fake ass sky. Oh, the sky is so beautiful and earth and Mother Earth. How? How you know that? I guarantee you're going to use somebody else's information. Why? Because you're a follower. Simple. You like to follow because you don't want to be uncomfortable with the truths of life. It's too much. It's not too much. You just don't want to be uncomfortable. But this path is about being uncomfortable. It's growing through the pain. This is the most painful path. The path that leads to bliss, the path that leads to love is the most painful. That's why few, what they say in the scriptures, many are called, but very few actually do the work. Very few actually do the work. Kryptonite isn't what opposes you, it's what feels aligned but disconnects you from direct knowing. Oh my goodness. Kryptonite isn't what opposes you. So all these things you think are against you, okay, that make you feel like you're a victim in your own life, that's not kryptonite. The kryptonite is what disconnects you from yourself. These groups out here and these storylines and headlines and what the next person is doing. What does that have to do with you in your everyday life? It don't matter. Oh, we're the Egyptians and we're the Galactic Federation aliens. Okay. So what does that got to do with you? A lot of what we call spiritual information is kryptonite. It's not needed. What's needed is true acceptance that you don't know nothing. And everything you've been taught from your mama and your daddy and your grandma and your teachers, were lies, false. And for you to identify, they taught you to even identify with the lies. When the ultimate truth is you don't have an identity. The only thing you are, the only thing that's real is love. That's the only thing that about you that's real. Everything else is false. Just like kryptonite comes from Superman's homeworld, the most dangerous threats on the left-hand path arises from your own symbols, your own language, and your own past realizations. Anything not continually continually re-realize becomes poison. So no, you don't got it. And no, you don't know nothing. No, you don't got it figured out. Why? Because this is a journey. Okay, it's baby steps and it's continuous. The whole thought of this thing getting to an end and you getting to a level, you should remove that shit from your head. Because the only thing that's going to do is stop you and hinder you and make you feel like you're somebody and you know something. But this thing is not about adding. This thing is about dissolving. This is a process of reduction. Okay, because once you remove all the bullshit, you realize how high you fly, how bright you shine. So that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted to share. But I thought that was very interesting, man. Very interesting. Gave me a lot of things to think about. But just like kryptonite comes from Superman homes where the most dangerous threats on the left-hand path, look at the three words. You are the kryptonite. And you the Superman. The true you, the real you, the one who knows and understands I go beyond this world. I go beyond this suffering. I go beyond these lies. There's more to me. That's Superman. That's the you who isn't limited by human understanding. Okay, the one who doesn't place limitation. We place limitations on ourselves based on ignorance. Okay, we place limitations on ourselves because we're taught to listen to other people and terrified to look in the mirror, be accountable, and listen to ourselves. Why? Because when you listen to yourself, it does not come with external validation. It comes with internal knowings. Nigga, I'm not validated by nobody around here that I know. People gonna say whatever. You shouldn't care. Anytime you're moving righteously, people gonna say whatever. You should not care. You know, you should not care what people think. People are fools. People are fools. People are trained to be followers and sheep. For you to care about sheep will make you a sheep. Real love comes from letting go. Detachment brings you real love. Attachment brings you suffering. You can read as many books as you want, understand as many concepts as you want, until you remove the filthy lies that was placed on you, until you let go of this world and what's in its world. It's a movie called Leave the World Behind. And that's what it was saying. Leave the world behind. That's why Jesus says, I am in this world, but I'm not of this world. See, he's not saying put your preference on that. No, the whole world, nigga. Everything you can think of, everything you can see with these eyes, everything you've been taught, everything you heard, lies, nigga. None of it's true. It may be permitted to be true, but nothing is inherently true. So no, I don't want to hear about ICE and Gaza and history. Why? Because that's kryptonite. That does not empower me. That's not going to get me to the next level of myself. All it's going to do is make me care about something that's not even real. Getting caught up in this illusion, this matrix. But I'm one of the ones who take it serious. I'm one of the ones who want to become something greater. Okay. I look at Superman and I see myself. I'm not trying to be beyond no human because ultimately I don't care about other people. I don't care what you got going on in your life. I don't care who hurt you. I don't care about your goals, and that's yours. I don't care about your thoughts. That's yours. Only thing I can control is me. I cannot control someone else's life. It's not my fault that they will suffer from their ignorance. What does that have to do with me? Why would I care about someone who willfully suffers and defend their own ignorance? This may be why the Gitas and the Vedic texts say to care is to suffer. To care is to suffer. You're taught to care about other people based on when you were 5, 6, 7 years old. Instead of running around being divine, you were worried about what a old ass teacher was gonna think about you. You were worried about what some funky ass students was gonna think about you. You was worried about what your dumb parents was gonna say about school. One of the worst institutions in existence. So no, you're supremely lost, family. We have no clue what we truly are. We don't sit around and fathom our greatness. We sit around and harp on our problems. Fake problems at that. We don't sit around. They don't teach you the greatness of yourself in school. They teach you how you were a slave and how the world was with the Black Death and all this bullshit they teach. Okay, but I'm here to tell you based on information that you can look up yourself. Okay, no, you go beyond. This world is trying to keep you in the darkness. Okay, and without understanding yourself and and accepting yourself and getting light, you will stay in darkness. You always gonna have a bad day, and I'm moody today, and I'm angry, and I'm depressed, and that's a choice. And that's a choice I choose not to go through. Okay, so you're gonna find yourself away from people, and that's why it's important to not need that external validation because people will want to pull you down naturally. It's not like they do it on purpose. What they're taught, man. They're trained to do it. If you the only one in your friend group who's trying to get off some substances, the moment you tell them, "No, I'm good, man," naturally they're gonna feel something. Oh, you think you're beyond? You think you better? No, it ain't that. I just don't want to do that no more. But humans aren't taught to support, understand. Humans are taught to defend. Okay, to stand up for ignorance. So yeah. Anyways, just thought I'd go over that. The real kryptonites to your path. Borrowed truth. Okay. If it did not come from you, it's not your truth. Spiritual narcotics. Practices that numb instead of sharpen. Unexamined ego inflation. External validation of power. External validation, period, is kryptonite. Because if you are this divine being, you're this God, why do you need a validation at all? You need it because you don't know who you are. You ain't doing the work. Simple. The avoidance of love, real love that comes from detachment and letting go, not this poisonous love that we're taught. So that's it, family. Ike out.